Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Jaliqua and today we're going to be looking at how to do these, how to make coffee mugs. We'll look at how to make the body of the coffee mug or teacup if you like, and also look at how to pull off the mug a handle. This is my preference for handles, mainly because the handle always seems to look like it's all part of the one piece. And I'll do a variety of shapes for you to look at, and you'll be able to see how I pull my handles off my mugs and the different shapes I do. If you do enjoy this, please give us a like, and ultimately, please subscribe to the channel. So let's get on with it and enjoy it. Thank you. Okay, here we go. We're into it, and we've got to first start off by centering our base or our body for our mug, and remembering centering is pretty much the most important step of throwing. We want to make sure everything's nice and controlled. Opening up here with my thumbs, and notice once I've opened up, I've come back and I've held the form with my thumb on the outside, my fingers on the inside, running my right hand with my fingers on the inside across the base, really compressing that base. I want a relatively wide base for my mugs. I don't tend to have a narrow base for my mugs. Notice the sponge. Every time I open up, I always compress that rim. You'll notice that after I collar in here, I'll grab hold of that sponge and revisit that rim, constantly revisiting it, and I'm ready then to start pulling the clay up. Just before I get to the top, just release your fingers slowly, and then there's that sponge again, compressing that rim, adding a little bit more water. Fingers on the outside with a little bit more pressure at this point, so pushing more inwards to keep that form into more of a conical shape. Just slowly release your fingers, grab hold of the sponge yet again, and compress that rim. That's quite an important step. Generally, you're looking at maybe 3 to 4 pulls of the clay till you get to maximum height for your body of your mug. And as I said before, grab hold of that sponge yet again, compress that rim, really focusing on making sure that's a nice rounded shape. I'm going to use the sponge on a stick, one of my favorite tools, just to get rid of some of that excess water and keep it nice and clean. The idea is to keep it nice and clean once you've thrown the form. And here's favorite tool number 2, angle tool. Cutting downwards and then resting it flat on the wheel head and bringing it towards the body, just to get rid of any of that excess clay that might be there, and keeping the form nice and clean and looking at creating that shape. Once I've created the form, I'm really then looking to shape it, and back again with the sponge on the stick. I find the kidney is quite useful on the outside, and I use the sponge on the stick on the inside to bring the clay up to meet the kidney on the outside. For a mug, I generally look at creating a nice generous lip around that rim area. I'm a person who prefers my mugs to have a lip that goes outwards, so basically hugs onto your lips as you drink out of it. Not a great fan of the mug that goes the other way, so rim back on the inside. I find that that can actually encourage a bit of dribble action, and we don't need dribble action when we have mugs. We want our mugs to be dribble free. So that's the body of the mug, and we'll cut that one off, let it dry out a bit, and get ready to trim the mug for step 2, which will be trimming followed by handles. And we'll just watch this guy go a bit faster. He's getting extra pay for doing this. So once your mug has had a bit of time to, or the body for your mug I should say, has had a bit of time to dry out, we're ready to turn it upside down and try and recenter it from the bottom, because we're going to trim it. We're going to get rid of, see some of that irregular clay action going on there. We're going to try and get rid of that. And I have a series of trimming tools. Some of them I hand make myself. Others I have bought, and yeah, I'm going to demonstrate actually using a full coil of clay. So I'm going to wrap that coil of clay all the way around the mug and attach it to the wheel head, making sure it's nice and locked in. At this stage, when you're trimming, I'll start from the sides, and I'll use the largest section of the trimming tool, and I'm looking at going pretty quick, so almost as fast as you would center. If you go too slowly while you're trimming, you tend to just ride over the bumps, and that's not what we want. We want to actually aggressively cut away some of that clay. And for the base, I'll look at using more of a curved trimming tool and start from the middle going through to the sides, and as I get to the sides I just lift my trimming tool up a little bit, so I want a little bit more of a concave shape from the base onwards. Hang on, I think we're going to stop right there. Let's address the goat in the room. Handles. Pulling handles are nothing like milking a goat. Fact, nothing like milking a cow or any other activity. Let's get on with it. Wow. So, pulling the handle requires a nice soft clay, lots of water, and what I'm doing here is creating some mini handles that I'm going to cut up and attach onto the mugs. Make sure they're a nice carrot-like shape, so conical. The top end of the carrot basically is what you're going to attach to the mug, and what you're going to do is put that end between your thumb and your finger, rub a whole lot of water on that and score it up, because that's the area that's going to attach to the mug. Make sure that you've got lots of water on hand, because it's that constant dipping in to your water container and pulling of the handle that's very important. If you don't have enough water, your hand might catch, and that's where you can tear your handle off. Score the mugs as well, and where you're going to reattach the mug, and blend your handle into the surface of that mug. That'll be nice and flared up, that area, so you have a whole lot of clay that you can blend into the mug. And clean it up. Perhaps look at using a sponge to clean it up, but your finger comes in quite handy. Be quite firm with it, and make sure what you're trying to do is get the look that handle is all part of the one mug. Hold your mug up high as you're pulling the handle, and make sure that when you visit one side of that handle as you're pulling it, generally you're going to balance it up and visit the other side by pulling it through. And you'll pull your handle right the way past your clay. And the idea is you want to end up with a lot more handle than you need, using your thumb to originally start the handle process. Lots of water, one side, then the other, and right down the middle with that thumb, and enjoy the process. It's something that takes a little bit of practice, a bit of time to do, but once you've got the hang of it, very, very satisfying, and also your mugs look much better. They look like all the handles all part of the one piece. If you enjoyed this clip, a like and subscribe will fill our mugs with a lot of happiness.